Hello everyone, today we'll look into the pathology of corneal ulcer and how it progresses. Let's start with the stages of corneal ulcer. Let us look at the layers of the cornea: epithelium, Bowman's membrane, stroma, and the Descemet's membrane, and the endothelium. When the ulcer starts after some form of trauma and inoculation of the organism, this organism starts replicating and proliferating rapidly and invading deeper into the corneal tissue. It doesn't remain like that. Our body defense mechanism, the cells also migrate from the periphery towards the ulcer, and when this happens, there is accumulation of fluid at the vicinity of the corneal ulcer. Corneal ulcer swells up, lots of dead tissue accumulates in the base of the corneal ulcer, and gradually, whenever there is a favorable outcome, the corneal ulcer heals. But when it heals, there is healing of the stroma by laying down some of the new fibers which are laid irregularly, causing opacity. The Bowman's membrane also heals by fibrosis, but the epithelium always remains transparent whenever it lays down a new layer. So we can see the opaque Bowman's membrane and the stroma. And what happens if the corneal ulcer wins over? Then what will happen? The corneal ulcer will dig deeper and deeper. There will be lots of accumulation of pus at the surface of the corneal ulcer. When a lot of corneal tissue is eaten away in the process of corneal ulcer, at the base of the corneal ulcer, it becomes so thin out that Descemet's membrane along with the endothelium bulges out through the corneal ulcer, which is called descemetocele. Whenever we look at a descemetocele from front, it looks very much clear. But if the patient strains, it ruptures and the aqueous drains out. And immediately what happens? The iris is swept into the perforation and is sealed. When this happens towards the center of the cornea, the lens also comes and blocks the perforation. Whatever it is, whenever the iris is in contact, the ulcer invariably heals. If the perforation is large enough, the iris actually prolapses through the perforation. Sometimes lens may also escape. There may be bleeding from the prolapsed iris. Let us summarize. The corneal ulcer may have two fates. One is with favorable prognosis and the other one with unfavorable prognosis, where it may go for perforations. In case of favorable prognosis, where when the ulcer heals, it will develop corneal opacity because of stromal fibers and from the Bowman's membrane. And whenever it goes for small perforation, in case of unfavorable prognosis, there will be also a corneal opacity because of the same phenomenon. The stromal fibers will be laid down, but there will be iris at the back of it, because we know that whenever there was a perforation, iris will be swept into the perforation and will seal it. This condition is called adherent leukoma, and this is the corneal opacity. But what happens if there is a big perforation? Whenever the perforation is big enough, the iris will actually prolapse through it. Sometimes the lens may also. But there is a condition in untreated corneal ulcer. When the pupil get blocked by the exudate, there will be also a layer of exudate over it, and over which the transparent epithelium will grow over. This epithelium and the exudate together will be known as pseudocornea. This is a very weak structure, and in normal intraocular pressure also, this bulges forward and forms a condition which is called anterior staphyloma. Over and above the corneal sequelae, the toxins from the corneal ulcer actually percolates into the anterior chamber, then will irritate the iris and the ciliary body, which will go for inflammation. This is called iridocyclitis. and from this inflammation there will be exudate that will pour out into the anterior chamber in the form of aqueous flare and aqueous cells. If the flare is dense enough, it will collect at the dependent portion which is called hypopyon. That is collection of pus in the anterior chamber. This exudate may also block the pupil which is called occlusio pupillae. Sometimes the iris get plastered into the lens in a circumferential manner 360-degree way, which is called the ring synechia. And whenever ring synechia or the occlusio pupillae develops, there is accumulation of fluid behind the iris and the iris is pushed forward. This condition is called iris bombae, and the iris will be in the close vicinity of the peripheral cornea, and this is called peripheral anterior synechia. And because of these conditions, there will be rise in intraocular pressure, and this is called secondary glaucoma. Exudates from the iridoid cyclitis also pours over the lens, and this is called the cyclitic membrane, because of which the lens nutrition is hampered and lens also develops cataract, and particularly this is a posterior subcapsular cataract. This is also known as complicated cataract. Let us summarize everything. In a corneal ulcer with a favorable prognosis, we can see corneal facet. Facet is actually a small depression, almost transparent. This is a sign of previous corneal ulcer, or it may go into a corneal opacity. There are three grades of corneal opacity which are called corneal nebula, corneal macula and corneal leucoma. There are many definitions of these opacities, but we shall see actually what it is. In the nebular opacities, the opacities are so faint enough we can see the most of the structures of the iris behind it. In a macular opacity, through this opacity we can barely see the iris structures but not its detail, but through the macula we cannot see anything. If there is corneal perforation, after a decimatocele will first form, then it will go for perforation. Then if the perforation is say a small one, then there will be adherent leucoma if the perforation is towards the periphery of the cornea, or it may go for a corneal fistula if it is in the center. There is a situation where there is a central perforation and the aqueous leaks iris and the lens grows and blocks it. The perforation gets blocked, lens iris diaphragm goes backward, but again there may be perforation from straining and it will keep on repeating. This is called a corneal fistula. If the perforation is big enough, the iris will actually prolapse through the perforation. Sometimes the lens can also go out, the lens expulsion can happen. The infection can spread towards the back to the vitreous cavity, that is called endophthalmitis, and sometimes the whole eye will go for infection, that is called panophthalmitis. Sometimes if there is a perforation of sudden onset, there may be expulsive hemorrhage from the choroidal vessels. In the pseudoconia we have just seen with the anterior staphyloма formation. Secondary glaucoma develops because of effect into the angle of anterior chamber, and simultaneously the optic nerve damage will ensue. The secondary cataract, which is also known as complicated cataract, that may develop because of effect to the nutrition of the lens. So, how to prevent these complications or disasters arising out of corneal ulcer? For that we shall have to wait for the next class.